You're not going to believe what I saw that day. A monk standing calmly on nothing but a cloth. Yes, a cloth, floating across the sea like he was walking on solid ground. People just stood there, frozen. Some gasped, others prayed. I followed him, and what came next shook me to my core. I saw hell. Not in a dream, not in a story. I saw it with my own eyes. It was deep, so deep you couldn't see the bottom. Pure darkness, no light, no end. The air, it stank of fire, rot, and despair. And the sounds, screams, not like the ones you hear in movies, real, human agony echoing from every direction. And in the middle of it all, I saw something that changed me forever. But to understand who he really was, we have to go way back. He was born in 1931, Ramzi Habib Awad. Even as a baby, people said there was something different about him. His father, a man of deep faith. He'd sit with his son, tell him stories from the Bible, not as tales, but as truth. His mother, she was strong. Firm, yes, but full of love. She never missed a chance to pray over him, even when he was asleep. And his grandfather? People said his eyes saw beyond this world, like he could sense what others couldn't. They lived in Upper Egypt, in a town where the church bells meant everything. Ramzi wasn't like the other kids. While they played, he sat in silence, staring at the church like it was calling to him. He didn't care about toys or school prizes. All he wanted was to wear black, the black of monks, of saints, of those who had given everything to God. He'd cry just to be allowed inside the church. One time, he fasted for a whole day at age 10. No one asked him to. He just wanted to be closer to Jesus. At 13, he told his mom, "I want to live in the desert." She laughed, thinking it was a phase. But it wasn't. That fire in him, it never died. He'd spend nights awake, whispering psalms by candlelight. He once gave his only new shirt to a beggar and said, "He needs it more than me." At 18, he disappeared. No goodbyes, no letters, just gone. He walked for miles across barren land, blistered feet, dry lips, but he didn't stop. He reached the monastery of St. Anthony, and when the monks saw him, they knew. They didn't need his name. His silence said it all. He was accepted immediately. They gave him a robe, black, simple, and heavy, and he wore it with pride. He spent his days in deep prayer, long fasts, helping with the sick, and carrying heavy loads without complaint. Other monks said he barely spoke for weeks. He just smiled and prayed. Some nights they'd find him kneeling in the dark, crying without making a sound. Soon, people started noticing things. A child with a fever touched his hand and cooled down. A blind girl was brought to him. He whispered a verse in her ear, and minutes later, she blinked in shock. One man said he had no food for days, and the monk appeared out of nowhere and handed him bread. Another claimed he saw the monk kneeling under the rain, but not a drop touched him. Was it magic? No, it was faith, raw, burning, powerful faith. People came from cities just to see him sit in silence. Many left in tears, changed forever. He never advertised himself. He never asked for fame. He just gave. Then came the day that became legend. He was visiting a poor village and needed to cross the Nile back to the monastery. But the ferry had already left. People offered to wait, to call someone. But he smiled and said, "The Lord will provide." He looked at the water, then reached into his robe and pulled out a small cloth, laid it gently on the water, like setting a napkin on a table, and stepped on it. It didn't sink, not an inch. He stood tall, eyes forward, as he glided across the surface like it was solid ground. Children screamed, old men fell to their knees, women wept. But he didn't turn around. He just walked and walked until he disappeared into the mist on the other side. He never spoke of it. When people asked, he'd just smile and say, "The Lord carries those who trust him." He grew older, but never slower. Still prayed for hours, still helped anyone in need. And when he sensed his time was near, he asked to be left alone in his small room. No fancy bed, no visitors, just him and God. He passed away in silence. No thunder, no storm. But the ground where he was buried, it shook with the feet of those who came to say goodbye. To this day, people visit that grave, not for blessings, not for miracles, but for peace. A peace you can't describe, the kind that only comes from someone who truly saw hell and chose heaven every single day. If you're still watching, wow, thank you. That means this story meant something to you. So do me one small favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more true spiritual stories, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. There's so much more to share, and trust me, the next one might just shake your soul. And hey, if this story touched you, if you felt something in your heart while listening, then maybe it's not just a story for you. Maybe it's a call to come, to walk where he walked, to stand where he prayed, to visit the place where his body rests in peace. Deep in the Egyptian desert, in the ancient monastery of St. Anthony, lies the body of Father Angelos L. Antony, a man who saw hell and chose heaven. So if you ever find yourself in Egypt, come, light a candle, stand in silence, and take the blessing of a modern-day saint. Trust me, you'll never forget it.